Goeiemorgen! Good morning, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world. You know what? We all, or most of us, hate snakes. Okay, there's just like, snake. And one of the things that I learned living in Africa is the easiest way to deal with a snake when it's poisonous and it's in your territory and you really don't want it there, is to go and boil up some water after you've kind of used a stick or something to chase it into a crack, and then you just throw the boiling water into that crack. And what happens is quite remarkable to watch, because the snake will come out of the crack and it'll start actually biting itself because of the boiling water on its body. And I'm using this analogy because what is happening right now in South Africa is, I think, quite misunderstood. There's definitely a politically oriented genocide against minority groups, and in particular the white population. You just have to listen to the comments of people like Malema, Zuma, Ramaphosa, the Secretary General of the ANC. You know, these are comments made to distract the wider black population from the real issues. You know, they talk about the whites being the cause of all the problems. This is after 25 years. It's totally ridiculous. Okay, now this is becoming a bit of a fireside chat, okay? It is what it is. But, you know, the situation is getting very desperate in the townships. And I do feel for so many black Africans who must be fearing for their lives. The violence in those townships is extraordinary. We had this example of this hospital which was throwing down body parts, you know, into the laundry and stuff like that. I had a video about that. It's raining. You know, it's very, very sad because the xenophobia happening in South Africa now, the lack of trust between black on black. Forget the racial white situation. The black on black side, where they are attacking and killing individuals in gangs, you know, in the township. And some are necklaced, some are beaten to death with rocks. I have seen some horrific videos over the last few weeks, I've got to tell you. And this is happening right now in South Africa. We all wonder where this is going to lead us, because the municipalities today are such a disgrace. They can't provide clean water. Sewerage is pouring into the river systems. Electricity through Eskom is a complete disaster. BEE has totally destroyed what was once a healthy, financially sound country. And the trouble we have is that the guys running the country, the politicians, you know, like the Ramaphosas and all his little troop of people under him, are so deep in the money pot, cleaning out everything they can, that they don't give a damn. They are just absolutely cleaning up. And the problem is that the mainstream media are not touching on this. The judicial system is ignoring it. The whole system in South Africa is completely corrupted. It's spiraling down into a big hole, black hole. It'll be a huge black hole, and it's very, very sad. I think the the situation in those townships in the next few months, before and after the elections, is going to dramatically deteriorate. I think there's going to be groups of blacks, whether it be Somalis or whether they be Zimbabweans, who will be targeted. And the way the local blacks think, the way the local blacks act, when you get a few of them together in a gang, they become animals. Let's face it. I mean, there's so many examples of this, but they just lower themselves down to animal status. And in a video that I had up a few weeks ago now, someone actually brought up a very salient point. They said, the interesting thing about, if you look at the white population and you look at the black population, the black population, when they're on their own, they're very quiet, they're very agreeable, absolutely perfect, no problem at all. But if you get a group of them in a position of strength against someone that they want to confront, they become animals. They will torture this person. They will. It is extraordinary what they will do. Whereas if you look at the white population, this is where there's a huge contrast in the way that the races work. And I'm not being racist, I'm just talking common sense here. In the white population, if you've got a one-on-one situation, the white guy, he won't be violent, but if he can somehow screw the other white person through gaining a higher position or whatever it might be, and it's a far more subtle thing. I mean, you see it so often, and I'm not talking about all whites, just as I'm not talking about all blacks. But if you get a group of whites together, they tend to form and coalesce as a group that works productively. Whereas in the black situation, they become just a gang of thugs. I can't explain it. Maybe a psychologist can explain it to me. But it's just something that is becoming so apparent. Okay, now, where do I go from here? So getting back to the townships. The world is right when they say that there's a huge amount of crime and murdering going on in the townships. That's a no-brainer. It is absolutely a no-brainer. But what they fail to report on is the fact that there is no white on black murders and tortures and, home invasions and things like that. And they might say, well, that's because the blacks don't have anything to steal. That's not the point. The point is that black on white home invasions, farm murders, the things that are going on that I report on every day are not touched by the mainstream media. The whole issue of why is this happening is totally ignored. The plight of these minority groups, and I'm not just talking about whites, I'm talking about coloreds, I'm talking about Indians, they all live in South Africa. They all have the same fears, they all face the same dilemma. Road closures, burning tires, the most shocking things. And when you look at these protests where they go out and they're demanding better service for their community, which is fine, but then they take it to the next level, don't they? They then go and loot the shops, burn the shops, burn cars. I mean, I don't think a group of white protesting people would do that sort of shit. I don't think I've ever heard of that happening in South Africa, ever. But when it comes to a black group, it happens just about every day. So there must be something about this mob mentality. You know, we have on the 29th of April, we have the Black Monday get-together, and I'll put the details down below if you want to go. And remember to wear black on Monday, the 29th of April. But, you know, they meet peacefully, they walk down the road like the Africans do. They don't put burning tires on the road, the whites I'm talking about. They don't put burning tires on the road. They don't go and loot shops. They don't go and burn down shops. They don't go and set cars alight. All they do is they go there to basically protest about a particular issue. Now you contrast that with what's going on when it comes to the black people. You know, they burn shops, they loot shops, they burn cars, they set cars alight, they set tires alight in the middle of the road. It is a completely different mindset, miles apart. And, you know, when white South Africans literally handed over the country to the ANC in 1992 when they had the vote, and in 1994 the ANC were voted in, the whole country just started spiraling down into a death wish. And it's because the people who are now running the country have no real understanding of democracy. And when I hear them in Parliament saying, the Honourable this and the Honourable that, the Honourable Malema, I just want to spew. Because these guys are absolutely crook. They are political mafia. They are so dishonourable. But, you know, they put out this charade as, look, I'm a member of Parliament and I'm representing you. You think of Malema's and the BLF's Andili's promises to the black population. Everything for free. Yeah. Everything for free. As shown on my quality EFF hat. That is their mantra. Everything for free. They know they can't do it. While they're saying this, living one day at a time, because they, you know, I've noticed that they really don't think forward, whereas white people do. So one day at a time, they are just cleaning out what they can from the coffers or wherever they can. The whole thing, it's like a pack of locusts in a wheat field, just cleaning out, killing it off, with no thought of the future. Although they might make all these wonderful comments about how good they are and what they're going to do for the people, it's all plain bullshit. And I know white politicians talk bullshit too. There's no question about that. But they don't do corruption. They don't get involved in hitmen to try and kill a political assailant, a political enemy, like the ANC do. The ANC are huge when it comes to hitmen. So many ANC figures who are threatening to go and spill the beans on the corruption just get taken out. And, of course, nothing's spoken about that. This fella Ace from the Free State, you know, the Secretary General, he has got to be one of the nastiest bits of work in the country. And the other day, he called the white people umlungu. And I've got a video about this earlier, so I'm not going to go into the detail, but it's a very nasty expression. And it shows the contempt, the depth of the contempt that these crooked politicians have for the white people. And if it wasn't for the white people, and this is a simple history lesson, if it wasn't for the white people, the blacks of today would still probably be walking around, herding their cattle, having little grass huts. There'll probably only be a couple of million of them because it's because of the white people that they got health and they got education and they got more food. They were able to grow in numbers, and they grew dramatically in the apartheid era. Now, what's actually happening is it's rather like if you think of an egg timer. Okay, you've got that little bell shape, and the grains are falling through it, and you've got a certain amount of time. During white government, the standard of living in South Africa grew dramatically. So basically those grains of sand went to a good spot, and it was a healthy society. Yes, it had its faults, but it was a healthy society. Now what's happened since 1994 is that egg time has been turned over, and the grains of sand are going back to where it used to be before the whites arrived in South Africa. If there's a prediction I can make, it's that in the next generation, South Africa will have lost a huge percentage of its population through starvation, civil war, uprisings. The whole place is going to be chaotic. There's absolutely no question about that. And for the white population who remain in South Africa, I think the big issue, the really big issue there is that I think the blacks are going to actually take out each other. I know there'll be what they call collateral damage, which is the people in the white areas. But the white people really need to look at what they're doing in places like Orania. Because I don't think places like Orania will ever be attacked unless it's a government going in there and attacking them. Because it certainly won't be a protest mob of black Africans doing that. But, South Africa is a complex place. But the bottom line, I believe, is that I think the tragedy that's happening in South Africa is now starting to unfold before us. And that is that the black-on-black violence is going to escalate dramatically. And as South Africa becomes more chaotic, I think that the overflow of that violence will start hitting in certain white areas. I have no doubt that. And I know there's a lot of black-on-white violence right now. I know there are carjackings. Look, I know so much about what's going on in South Africa. You have no idea. I get so much intel. But I think the world, which is totally ignoring what's going on under this corrupt ANC government, have got a lot to answer for. And the mainstream media, as I've always said, they are fake news, they're a joke. It is very, very sad. Okay, the old fart has been rambling on enough. I'm going to leave it at that, but my next video is going to be, I'm going to do it separate to this one because I don't want the song lost in all this philosophizing that I've put forward. But the next video is going to be an inspirational song, and I'll tell you more about that. All right, guys, look, please have a safe Easter weekend. As someone who lives outside the country, my thoughts and my prayers are with you all. I just wish I could magically just create a country in somewhere like Australia or America, where all the white South Africans could just be transferred just like that and have an opportunity again. It must be absolutely shocking, the things that you face day by day. And, the racism that goes on, black against white, is absolutely extraordinary. Okay, please remember to subscribe to be kept informed, and have a great day.